Hello everybody, welcome back to Med School EU. My name is Andre. Today we are going to discuss equilibrium in aqueous solutions. So first of all, we must learn what is equilibrium. To explain the concept of equilibrium, let's take a look at this basic composition reaction. So normally what we have done in the past is we have wrote down our reactants on the left side, our products on the right side, and they're marked by an arrow where the reactants turn into the products. And we assume that when the reaction is complete, there will be no more reactants, and all we have left is the product. In many cases in chemical reactions, that does not occur. You are not going to consume the entirety of A and the entirety of B to make only C. What's actually going to happen is there is a reverse process going on, where C is decomposing at the same time into A and B in a reaction. So for example, if we have salt, NaCl, and water, that is going to produce your ions, Na plus and Cl minus. Well, at the same time, these ions will be combining to form NaCl again. So this will be going a back and forth reaction in which we will have the rate of the forward, the breakdown, and the rate of the composition reaction. Now, equilibrium is going to be indicated by these double arrows, meaning that the rate of the forward reaction will equal to the rate of the reverse reaction. So if I have A plus B that becomes C, and I have C that becomes A plus B, the rate, meaning the speed at which both of these reactions occur, is equal. And that is what equilibrium is. It indicates the equality in the rate, not in the equality of concentration or the amount. A lot of people attribute equilibrium to thinking that the reactants equal the products, meaning that the amount of reactant I have is going to equal to the amount of product I have. And that's not true. It could be true, but in most cases it wouldn't, because there's all these other possibilities. Meaning that that's not what equilibrium represents. It doesn't represent concentrations. It has nothing to do with amounts of a substance, reactant and product. It has everything to do with the rate. It's simply about the speed of the reaction. Because when you're looking at a reaction and you see that the reaction has stopped, meaning that nothing new is occurring. You have dropped your salt in the water, you have stirred it, you have heated it up, and it has dissolved. So nothing's going on. There's no more dissolving happening. It just looks clear like water, so the reaction is over. However, the reaction isn't over. The reaction is continuously occurring in the forward direction and the backwards direction, except now the reaction has both the forward and the reverse are going at the same speed that no physical change is visible. And this is why we cannot see any change and we think, okay, it's done, it stopped. But it hasn't stopped. It's still going forward, it's still going backward, but at the same speed, meaning that nothing actually changes. Now, something important to know is that equilibrium is going to be described by equilibrium constant, marked by the letter K. And what this equilibrium constant does is it provides information on the concentration of the reactants and the products once we are at equilibrium. It basically measures how far the reaction has proceeded. And by how far, I mean how many of the reactants have reacted to become the product. How far have we gone to the right, or how far have we gone to the left to reach the equilibrium? That's what the equilibrium constant will describe. So now the equilibrium constant will deal with concentrations, but as you will find out, in most cases, the concentration of the reactant and the product is not going to be equal. So let's take a look at an example. This best explained with an example. N2O5 gas that is in equilibrium with NO2 and oxygen gas. And here we're going to have 4 moles. Here we'll have 2 moles in order to balance everything together. Now, when I'm measuring the equilibrium constant of the forward reaction, I will have the concentration of the products in the numerator, so NO2, the concentration of NO2, to the raised to the power of the coefficient, which is 4, times the concentration of oxygen raised to the power of 1, because this is 1. And that will all be over the concentration of the reactants. So we're comparing concentration of reactants to the products and how far the reaction has proceeded. So in this case, if K is bigger than 1, is some number bigger than 1, that means that my concentration of my products is higher than the concentration of the reactants. Obviously, because if it's a positive number and it's 1, bigger than 1, by definition, I have more products than the reactants. Now, if I have K that is smaller than 1, then I'm going to have less concentration of the products than the reactants. And finally, if my concentration is equal to 1, that means I actually have the concentration of the products equal to the concentration of the reactants. And that's how we're going to measure the equilibrium of a certain reaction, meaning that we're going to measure how far the reaction has proceeded. If the K is bigger than 1, then we know that we have more products, meaning that the reaction proceeds further this way than backwards. And that's where the equilibrium occurs. Or if K is smaller than 1, that means we did not really react that much because we still have more reactants than the products. There are many examples dealing with equilibrium on the IMAT test. However, I did find one, and we're going to take a look at that. So consider the following reversible reaction at temperature T. A plus 2B is at equilibrium with 2C plus D. So it says that at equilibrium, there are 0.5 moles of A. So we got 0.5 moles here. 0.2 moles of B, 0.5 moles of C, and 0.8 moles of D, all in a vessel of volume. What is the value of the equilibrium constant Kc at this temperature? So C simply means concentration, so we're measuring concentration. So K is going to be the concentration of C to the power of 2 times the concentration of D over concentration of A as the reactant times the concentration of B to the power of 2. And if I substitute all my numbers in that I have been given, so when we calculate that, we should get 0.4 here. Well, I mean the 0.5 will cancel here, so we'll get 0.4 over 0.04. And when you do the division here, you should get 10. And that will be the answer. So when we have the value of 10, remember I mentioned that if K is bigger than 1, that means we have more products than the reactants. The concentration of the product is higher than the reactants. And that's exactly what we have here. The concentration of C and D is going to be 10 times higher than the concentration of A and B. This concludes our lecture for today. Watch the next video where we talk about kinetics and catalysis.